Jankins, as we're here to talk a little bit about a topic that a lot of people have seen over this past several years, a lot of commercials for all over, this station and a bunch of other ones too. But we're talking about bankruptcy and when you should file, for example, Chapter 7 as compared to another form of taking care of what you have overloaded when it comes to bills.
Right. A lot of times people want to come and see me to talk about filing Chapter 7 bankruptcy and get rid of their debts. And so we'll get the people all set up and get ready to do that. And then people will come in, we'll go over their situation. And clearly these are folks that probably need to file Chapter 7 bankruptcy. They really don't have the ability to pay the debt, and we advise them of that accordingly. Then we will get phone calls later on sometimes from them, and they'll say, we've changed our mind. I think we're going to a debt consolidation company, and we're going to try to work our debts out that way. So these people may have gotten contacted by mail. I think they get on mailing lists. I'm not sure how. They may have seen ads on television. They may have seen things on the internet. They may have gotten emails. I don't know how they get those either, but they do. I get them. And so they go, yeah, this sounds like it's a better deal. And so they get a hold of these debt consolidating companies. And when I say debt consolidation companies, I guess what I mean is companies that tell people, we're going to settle out your debts with your credit card companies for some percent, 50%, 40%, something like that. Before they even have a chance to really go through all the budget of people, their income, what their real expenses are, they just make a representation to these people. We'll be able to get all this debt settled for X dollars. So if they got $50,000 of credit card debt, they'll go, yep, we're going to get that all settled for $20,000. Mind you, there could be 10 or 15 different companies with different amounts, but they're telling people we're going to get this all settled for this amount. Well, it's impossible to know what they're going to get anything settled for until they actually talk to some of the places that are owed the money.
Right.
I thought about this topic because I had a client actually this week that contacted me, and after the appointment was set, then the client kind of got cold feet and was deciding, well, maybe I'm going to go to a debt consolidating company. I've been in touch with them, and as it turned out, after having discussions with the client, found out, as is so often the case, these companies tell people, oh, you don't want to do bankruptcy, and they give them false information about what happens when bankruptcy is filed. Or they say you're not going to be able to qualify, or you're not going to be able to do it. And these aren't lawyers talking to these people. These are people that are spread around all over the United States. Who knows where they're from?
Now, we have to go on record by saying there are some companies, some right here in Des Moines, that are very credible, that take care of this, that do this, but there's some shady people that are out there that are roping some of these people in.
Well, again, I think what you're talking about here in Des Moines aren't debt consolidators. These are people that want to pay their debts back, and they're all going to get paid back in full. Consumer Credit of Des Moines isn't a debt consolidator. They're a company that you go to, and they help you with your debt, your credit cards primarily. They'll contact and reach out to all the credit card companies. So that's something different than what
we're talking about here, then.
Yes, they'll negotiate lower rates.
Just want to make sure we clarify that.
Sure.
So we're not just pointing them. It's not them. It's these other people that are coming in doing that. So that's who we're talking about.
Exactly. And that's why I specified at the beginning, it's companies that say we're going to settle them out for 50% versus Consumer Credit, where they're going to negotiate lower interest rates and kind of put the debt all together, and Consumer Credit will help people pay their debts and pay everybody every month, so everyone's getting paid along the way. So, and they all agree. So all of the people that are getting paid agree to participate. Now with the debt consolidator companies, and I'm not familiar that there's any in Des Moines or even Iowa that I've heard of, they are going to pay one at a time, so it could be a couple of years before someone sees a dime. So, and everybody doesn't agree to be in it, because it's not everybody comes to the party and agrees, we'll be here, but we'll wait 3 years till we see a dime. So it's a whole different situation, and those generally don't work from what I've seen, and of people that have come to see me. I don't think the model is set up to be successful, because people have no protection from the creditors, because they aren't all agreeing to be in this program.
So what's the falsified information about bankruptcy that they're telling?
Well, they'll say you won't qualify for bankruptcy, or if you file bankruptcy, you're going to lose A, B, C, and this company that might be telling them it could be out in the East Coast someplace, and they don't even know what the bankruptcy laws are. They don't know what property a person's going to lose or not, because in every state it's different, and they're not lawyers. All they're doing is selling them information because they want them to use their company, because these companies make thousands of dollars off these people. There's upfront fees, there's hidden fees and costs that really aren't discussed, but they're in the contract. There's fee schedules on these debt. When one actually evaluates them, it's thousands and thousands of dollars of the money that the people are actually paying, and most of the people don't really realize that's how much money is going to these folks. And meanwhile, their credit's becoming obliterated almost from day one because they've stopped paying all the debt, and all of the debts are going into collections. And at best case scenario, the program is going to take several years if it's a large amount of debt, because it just takes a long time to accumulate funds to settle, even at 50 cents on the dollar. And if a person just did a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, their debt would be gone in 3 months, assuming that's appropriate for the person.
Right.
And after that, they're already in a position to rebuild their credit and start getting a good credit score again. They may have car loans they're paying and house loans, and so they're already fixing their situation, and in a matter of a year they could be in a good credit score again. They're going through these debt settlement companies, and their credit's going to be just terrible for the whole time they're in it and long beyond. Some of those debts that are sitting out there are going to sue them and get judgments. Those are horrible for credit. A lot of these people end up having their wages garnished while they're participating in this settlement program, because that's a creditor that wasn't waiting around. They didn't get to them very quick, and they just keep marching along. They don't wait. And so it's just better for people to meet with folks in your town to help you out, or at least in your state. In bankruptcy, you have to kind of get an attorney that's going to be, near the bankruptcy courts, because that's where the bankruptcy lawyers tend to have their offices. And so you can meet with somebody in person. These debt consolidation companies, you never meet with somebody in an office. You don't know who they are, what they're really about. Most of the people don't check them out. It's very easy to Google a lot of these companies, and then you'll see what other people have said about them if they've been around a long time. I'm finding that I'm checking out some that there's not much out there about them, and it's probably because they haven't been around very long to generate a lot of complaints yet. So they generally just aren't providing a really great service for people, and it usually, in my view, causes more harm than good for these people.
When you're caught in that scenario of being in that much debt, a lot of times you
Desperate.
You're desperate. You act
Right.
without thinking. If people are still on the fence, not sure which way to go, will you at least talk to them and show them their different options?
Can they meet face to face with you?
They can always meet face to face with me. It's a free consultation, and we explore all your options and